What's up, beautiful people? Today we are with a special guest, Rynita Short of Michigan. She is Miss Wheelchair Michigan, and today she's going to talk about her process, how she got into advocating, and what it took to be Miss Wheelchair Michigan. And she will be competing in nationals sometime later this year. So right now I'm going to bring her on and let her introduce herself and get the conversation going. Hey, Rynita, how you doing?
Good. I'm fine. How are
Good.
you?
Doing good.
Good.
Okay. Okay, so let's start the conversation off by just telling a little bit about yourself, how you got into advocating, and what Miss Wheelchair was like, and what you hope to achieve.
So, my name's Rynita McGuire. I go by Rynita Shot-e McGuire because I'm also a DJ, and my DJ name is Shorty. I am a professional DJ and artist and a college art professor, and now I'm Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2025. In August, I'll be competing for Miss Wheelchair America. The Miss Wheelchair America organization is a organization for people with or women in wheelchairs to become advocates. So the whole competition is really based on your advocacy, your contributions to the disabled community, and what you've done with your life as a woman with in a wheelchair or as a woman with a disability. So, I kind of got into it by being born with a disability. I know that sounds funny, but to have a disability is to live a very political advocacy life, or at least if you're in the public eye and you live in the real world and you have to fight the system to be able to live and maintain as quote unquote normal of a life in society as possible, then you're constantly advocating for yourself and others with disabilities to make sure that you can accomplish those things. And I think I've been doing that my whole life because I've been kind of a go getter my whole life. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe direct a few more with some questions, but I think that's a good intro.
That's awesome. So, what got you into DJing? And how did that all start?
So I was a raver back when rave was really big. I mean, it's making a comeback now, but when it was really big in the late 90s and early 2000s, I was what you would call a super raver. So I would go to parties all the time and see other DJs and dance. And I loved getting into the costume and the community and the people and all the stuff that was a rave. And I made a friend who used to take me to shows all the time because he had a pickup truck that he could put my wheelchair in the back of, and I didn't have a wheelchair accessible vehicle yet. So he put me in the back of his truck, and he would take me to gigs all the time. Well, one of after a while of hanging out, maybe like a year, he ended up buying himself a set of turntables, and shh, I'm so sorry. I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry. And he set them up in my house on a table where I could reach them. And he kind of knew, he just left me a handful of records and just, said this button does this, that button does that, figure it out, have fun. And he kind of knew, I think, leaving me alone with it, something that I was interested in, I would try to figure it out. And I did. And I started playing that night. I put a wooden spoon in my mouth at the time because I didn't have any mouth sticks. And I realized that I could at least reach all the buttons and make things go. And then I evolved from there. So when I say a wooden spoon, it's kind of like this,
Nice.
but it was wood. The thing with the wooden spoon is it didn't grip the records because the end was slippery, and after a while, I would kind of chew through the wood. So then I started using something called a mouth stick. Mouth sticks are great and all, but they're really expensive and they break all the time. So we're talking at least $70. Insurance doesn't pay for them, and because I use them for everything, for DJing, for typing, for cooking, for cleaning my house, for getting things out of the cupboards, for everything. I was putting too much strain on them. They're really made for typing and that's it. So then I started using other things. I bought these rubber spoons, which I don't bite through as much, and they're really cheap, so I can replace them, get different colors. And I put a rubber tip on the end so it could grab things like records and stuff. I also got these, which I think are cool because they're a little finger, and
Nice.
hmm they're called teacher pointers. And I was like, I'm a teacher. How did I not know about that? But they extend. So they get really long, and I can like point to things on the board or point to things on my students' drawings and stuff because I teach art. So I need to be able to physically show them things. So I started using teacher pointers and rubber spoons and things like that. And they're only like $5 a piece. So I can have all the colors I want. I can replace them when they break. So that's what I've been doing for DJing, teaching, drawing, painting. I pretty much use my mouth for everything. I'm the only DJ in the world that can DJ with their mouth. At least professional DJ. Some people have definitely seen that I do it and have experimented with it, and it's really awesome to see more people getting into it. But as far as history goes, I'm the first.
That's nice. What do you think the biggest impact you made on other people with disabilities, showing them that you can do that as far as DJing, and how has it affected you personally, knowing that you made that impact on them?
So I'm gonna hold on one second. I'm turning do not disturb on because my computer keeps beeping. Okay. So I think DJing and doing art and living on my own and being even in the rave scene and dancing all the time and just being out in the world all the time, I think the impact that I made on people with disabilities and people in society is just showing them that if you really want to do something, there really are no limits. The limit is you believing in yourself or not, honestly. Because most of us, especially those of us who are lifers who've been this way our whole life, um, we find a way to work things out. We find a way to adapt. If we want to do something, we'll get the friends to support us, or we'll find, the gear that we need, or however we need to adapt. And so I think with my DJing and my public persona and all the things I do in the community, I'm just really showing people that we're so much more capable than they've ever let us believe. And that's really what my platform as Miss Wheelchair Michigan is all about, is really like showing people with disabilities that you don't have to become a DJ or a teacher to see that, like, if you want to do something, you can do it. And I'm just trying to be a role model and show people, I did it, I fought for it, and I'd be happy to meet with people, talk with people, and try to troubleshoot and work out how we could make things happen for them that they want to accomplish too.
That's cool. So you recently crowned a little girl, and I think you gave her a turntable or some kind of toy like that. Didn't you? I think I saw it on Instagram or something.
Yeah, so I crowned Little Miss Wheelchair Michigan. A lot of states have a Little Miss pageant as well, or title. And I met this little girl when I was DJing a show, an art show for people with disabilities. And everyone there, every artist that was being shown had a disability. And she saw me and met me there. And she told me she wanted to be Miss Wheelchair Michigan one day, but she also told me that she wanted to DJ one day. And I was like, that's cool. We need more girl DJs. So when I crowned her, her name is Dahlia, and she is 4 years old, and she has cerebral palsy. I bought her a VTech turntable system for little kids, but it actually allows you to like make beats, mix beats, record your own vocals, like all kinds of stuff. So now and I also made her a logo and put it on a shirt and named her DJ Dahlia. So not only is she Little Miss Wheelchair Michigan now, but she's also DJ Dahlia. The Little Miss pageant allows them to participate in some of the events that we participate in, and like see older women with disabilities really doing things in this world that kind of inspire her to see what all she can accomplish. She'll be able to go to nationals and participate in like 2 days. One day is fun day where we'll be running around doing fun stuff, and she gets to be there for that. And the other day, when we give our speeches on speech night, she'll be passing out just certificates and flowers to all of the state title holders after they come on and off the stage. So she's going to get to really see a lot of powerful, inspiring advocates in wheelchairs and with disabilities. And I'm hoping that that really inspires her to see as she grows up that there's really all kinds of things in this world that she can do. She has really awesome parents that help her do a lot of cool stuff too. So that's part of why I picked her. She's already a little powerhouse, and I just wanted to take her under my wing because life gets hard, as you know, around middle school, high school. and I just wanted her to have people in her corner to cheer her on and help her get through all of that, so that when she gets to adulthood, she can see that it gets better and she can do anything.
That's awesome. So, how many states actually have pageants?
I think there's like 30 something states that have pageants. What I hear right now, or at least state pageants, about 23 of them are supposed to be participating in nationals in August. I've met quite a few of them online. We've had a couple video chats and stuff. They're really cool girls. We look at it as wheel sisters. So yes, we're competing, but we're also a sisterhood because we're all on the same team, right? We're all wanting to better the lives of people with disabilities. So whether I win or somebody else wins, I still like root for everybody because they're in every state helping to further our cause and champion and be ambassadors for people with disabilities. And really, that's what it's mostly about.
That's awesome. So, how has it changed your look on advocacy and being disabled after being Miss Michigan, Miss Wheelchair Michigan, versus then, versus before?
Um, I don't think it changed my outlook on it as much as it gave me a bigger platform to do all the things that I'm doing now, but reach so many more people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've always been an advocate, a strong advocate for myself and those around me. But now I can do it on a bigger scale. I can reach more people. I can help more people. Like I have and I get to meet so many more people. Like I'm DJing the closing ceremonies for the Hartford Nationals Adaptive Sports Competition next month. I've been in parades. I'm speaking on a panel for called Nothing About Us Without Us in Detroit next month for Disability Pride Month. I'm meeting with lawmakers and governors and mayors and trying to impact positive change in my community. But also even doing podcasts like this and stuff, which goes well beyond my local region. I'm meeting and reaching so many more people doing things like this.
Cool. So, what is your biggest project that you're working on outside of this because of being Miss Wheelchair Michigan, and what do you hope to achieve from that project?
Well, my platform, I think, is my overall project. And with every meeting and every event that I participate in, it's to further that platform. And that is to really set up a mentoring system where disabled adults like you and I and other people that I know all over the country can be mentors, kind of like a big brother, big sister program to young and newly disabled people. So, right now, it's really about inspiring and empowering people with disabilities and educating people who don't have disabilities. But the end game is to really set up this network, which I plan to be talking to you about as well, because you're already big in the advocacy world as it is. So, I would love you to be a part of it, and a lot
Absolutely.
of my other friends. So yeah, it might be that we meet with some of these people virtually. It might be that there's some in our own hometown that we can meet. But just to really support them and be there for them and show them things they can do and help them figure out the things that they want to do. Because I don't think that people with disabilities are often expected to accomplish much by society as a whole. And therefore, we may not always know how much we can do. And I think people like you, me, other people that I know that are doctors and advocates and professors and scientists and just awesome role models and kick ass people with disabilities can really show kids or people who just became disabled um, a better path than what society is going to show them, which is, oh, well, maybe you can get an apartment and support services, which is like literally as far as they push us. And it's ridiculous.
Awesome. So, let's go back a little bit and talk about what life was like growing up and how you got to this point.
So I had a pretty intense life. I was born disabled. I have a disability that limits the range of motion in my arms and legs. But I think because of ableism or the time, like the year I was born or generation or whatever society, my mom didn't really see that I was going to be able to do anything. And she didn't have a lot of patience for me. And I ended up in foster care by the time I was 10 years old. So that was voluntary. It wasn't because I was being abused. My mom just didn't want me. So I ended up in a foster home. And I lived there in two different foster homes growing up until I was 17. And then I aged out early and I was on my own. And then when I got out on my own, I was homeless for a while because I just really didn't have the supports and wasn't taught like how to get caregivers, how to get an apartment. I was too young. Like there were a lot of factors, but it just didn't keep a place for very long. And then I was homeless for a couple of years. I got sick of being homeless and living off of random people helping me because, I knew how to tell them what kind of help I needed, but I didn't know how to like officially hire people and pay them and all that. So it was just anybody off the street that was willing to help me. And I got sick of all that. I got sick of everything being hard. I got tired of being sick and tired. And I got on a Greyhound bus with $100 in my pocket and a backpack full of clothes. And I went all the way to San Diego because it was the farthest from Michigan I could get on a bus, really how I ended up picking San Diego. And I started getting resources and stuff out there because California is pretty progressive and they have a lot of resources. The disability rights movement started out there way back in the 70s. So I got help to get a place to hire caregivers. I got myself into college. I just became, I say I grew up in California, but I lived here, right? And then I went there. But I feel like that's where I really grew up and became myself and who I was. So I did that for quite a few years. And then I came home and continued to rock life, kept going to school, got into teaching because I got a master's degree and now I teach and DJing and just kept moving forward. As soon as I figured out how to get my legs under me, metaphorically speaking, there was like no stopping me. I was just going forward and I just kept going.
That's awesome. So, what do you think the biggest impact you've left on your students, and what do you think you've taught them about people with disabilities? Because I know it can be different when somebody doesn't realize that you're in a chair, realize what you can do, and then you get the role of teaching, and they're like, "Wow, my teacher in a chair, she's teaching me so much." So, what do you feel like you've taught them, and also learned about yourself as being a teacher?
So I think when I first started, I was a little worried how they would take me, and they were probably a little worried how I was going to handle it. But we kind of grew together, right? I mean, every semester it's a different class, but I got more confident and just showing them by just doing everything. So I feel like there was a lot of doubt by my peers when I wanted to be a professor also. So um, they they weren't sure I was going to be able to do it. So I don't ask for any help at work. I'm sure I can ask for accommodations, but I just don't. I just do everything on my own as hard as it is. I make copies, I drag carts of art down to the hallway, I help all my students and get artwork hung on the walls and everything every other teacher does without any assistance whatsoever. And I really think it's honestly because there was so much ableism and so many people thinking I wasn't going to be able to do any of it, do demos or show them. Like I heard things like, how's she going to show them how to hold a pencil if she does everything with her mouth and all of that. But I figured it all out. And I think my students, at first they're like, oh, well, she's really neat. This will be interesting. But then they really see like I'm doing all these things way more than they probably would have thought I could do. And so are my peers at work. And I think it doesn't just teach them about people with disabilities, although it does. It teaches them just about human perseverance, right? Like we all, if you have that drive and you have that fight, whether you have a disability or not, there's always an obstacle. But if you want it hard enough and you really think it through, there's a way to get things done. And I think I definitely show them that. I show them plenty of art. I'm obviously been in school for a million years and got multiple degrees. So I'm really good at art and technique. So not to take that away just because I have a disability. I'm very qualified, but I also show them a different perspective in life just by having me around doing the things I do, I think.
Yeah. Talk about a situation where you had to use determination to convince maybe your upper peers or the administrators of the school that you could do the job, and how did you overcome that?
Um, So when I first started as a grad student, you're allowed to be a teacher's assistant. So when I started grad school, I told them I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to go through that program. I wanted to be a TA, and I could tell I was getting blowback. Where everybody else was like, they were like, yeah, let's sign them up. And with me, it was like, well, let's see how you do. And I could tell. And those of us can tell when people are patronizing us, right? Especially if you
Yeah,
lived with a disability your whole life.
exactly.
So, yeah. So I just kept saying, I want to do it. I want to do it. And I kept getting blowback. And then one of my professors was like, you know what? I want her to do it. I want Rynita to be my TA. And she took me on as her TA, and she did not take it easy on me at all. And I'm glad she didn't. She asked me for the same things she would ask for anyone else. And I think she did it on purpose because there were so many people doubting that I could do it that she wanted to be like, check this out. And I did it. And then after that, I just got more and more opportunities. People started seeing that I was capable. So I guess I kept fighting and I kept fighting until I got one person to believe in me. And that one person gave me a chance. And then other people believed in me. And then other people gave me a chance. And now that I have some experience actually past grad school as a teacher, other places are giving me a chance where they probably wouldn't have even thought about giving it a second thought that I was, capable, or even giving me the opportunity. Now that they see that I've done it for some years there, they're letting me work there in these new places too. So yes, I just kept planting the seed and fighting for myself until someone gave me a chance. And then I was like, I joke and I say, here, hold my beer, but I'm a teacher. So I wasn't saying hold my beer, look what I could do. But the same concept. It was, check me out. I can do this. Like,
Yeah,
back up.
exactly.
I got it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, as we wrap this up, talk about how people can get involved in what you're doing, and as far as the pageant, how they sign up or anything like that, and talk about your most rewarding moment where you really made an impact on somebody without a disability because you're Miss Wheelchair Michigan, and how you shed a light on people with disabilities.
You guys asked me like 10 questions in one, and I don't remember where the beginning was. Uh,
Okay,
how
so
people can get involved, right? Let's start
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Okay. So, for in every state or most states, there is a Miss Wheelchair organization. My guess would be, because it depends on where you live, to contact Miss Wheelchair America. You can find them on Facebook. They also have a website. Get a hold of them and find out if your state has a program. And if not, you can start a program or you can compete as an independent, I hear. So if your state doesn't have a program, you can possibly compete as an independent. To get involved with me personally, there will be some voting coming up in July for the People's Choice. I'll be posting that. Also, I'm always accepting donations. I know, shameless plug, but we don't get any money to help us get to any of these events or anything. We're, as part of our contract, we're supposed to raise money to get to all the events, to compete, to all this stuff. And I want to reach as many people as possible and participate in as many things as possible. And that's not just gas and hotel, that's caregivers and all kinds of other things that I need, entry fees. So I have a GoFundMe. I'm also going to be doing a fundraiser with t-shirts and stickers and hoodies and all kinds of stuff coming up here pretty soon. And there'll be the People's Choice Award vote. So the contestant that gets the most votes there gets the People's Choice Award, and their state organization gets some money to help them, and help future Miss Wheelchairs of that state as well. So look out for my page. I have a Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2025 Rynita McGuire page, and I have Rynita Shot-e McGuire page. You can follow me on either one on Facebook, and it'll have all the details on following me, donating, voting, all of that stuff. So,
awesome.
and then you asked something about influencing a non-disabled person or a disabled person or not. No, I don't know. The question wasn't quite clear.
Yeah, so how have you impacted someone without a disability after being Miss Wheelchair Michigan, and how have you changed the viewpoint of people without disabilities because you're Miss Wheelchair Michigan?
So I think I've been impacting people without disabilities since way before, right? It's pretty obvious I'm disabled, and I'm in non-disabled spaces on a very regular basis. And I have a lot of followers and a lot of friends, because of all the things I've done throughout the years. But I think it's just a whole nother level of like respect and importance and intrigue since I became Miss Wheelchair Michigan. I've been able to meet so many more people and even get so much more support from the people I do know. So I can't think of a specific situation, but like everything, like the parades I've gone to, the one parade I went to, there were thousands and thousands of people there, and there were people were screaming how beautiful I was, how awesome it was that I do what I do, and a lot of people didn't even know Miss Wheelchair was the thing, right? So I think just learning about the organization, learning about me, I mean, it definitely lifted my spirits. Just hearing them cheer for me and stuff in such a big volume was almost breathtaking for me. It was so awesome. But I think I'm just positively impacting everyone I meet, and I hope that's always kind of been my gig, but now it's just so much bigger and so much louder. And I really love it. It's just been an amazing experience.
Yeah. So, what's been your coolest and funny event that you've done since you're Miss Wheelchair Michigan?
I think my coolest events are coming up next month. I've done a lot of great events so far. I love the St. Patrick's Day Parade because I am super Irish and I've been in it before, but never as a queen. I love the Tulip Time Parade. I loved crowning Little Miss Wheelchair Michigan. I think that has been the coolest, most impactful thing so far. I've been on the news and I've met with lawmakers, but just meeting that little girl and changing her and giving her like the best day ever and changing the next couple years of her life, I think so far to me was the most rewarding. But
Uh,
next month being Disability Pride Month, I have huge stuff going on. I'm going on my first track chair tour, which I know you promote those track chairs quite a bit. I'm going adaptive water skiing, which is going to be amazing. I'm going to document all that so that people with disabilities can see about that. I'm going to a Meet Miss Wheelchair Michigan Day where I get to go to City Hall, meet the mayor, be the keynote speaker at the luncheon, all kinds of stuff. I get to be part of the Disability Pride celebration, Nothing About Us Without Us in um, Detroit next month as well. And that a lot of former Miss Wheelchair Michigans are also attending. And we're going to bring up how people with disabilities who have jobs are getting punished by losing benefits, and we still need to keep home health care and stuff because a former Miss Wheelchair Michigan is fighting to keep her Medicaid so she can keep home health care. And I'm going through it. I lost my Social Security, which I'm fine with, but I need to keep caregivers. So we're gonna start to. I'm actually having a Zoom meeting this afternoon, and then we're having another one tomorrow. But we're gonna collectively start together to really make actionable change for people with disabilities who want to work and who want to be part of contributing members of society, but still need minimal support services so that we can get out of bed and eat food and get dressed, so we can go to our jobs.
I feel you. Well, if there's anything my platform and the podcast can do to help out with that, please let me know.
I will.
Is there anything you want to say to the people as I let you go? Any encouraging words or anything like that?
I guess if anything, meeting me, I would like, or hearing from me, I would like you to know is that no matter who you are or what you think your limitations are, there is stuff out there for you to do. You are valuable, you matter, your life matters, and your ambitions matter. So don't think just because this person tells you you can't do it or whatever, whether you have a disability or not, that you can't do it. You can do anything. You might have to find a way to do it. You might have to do it differently, but you can do it. And
That's
so can
awesome.
I.
That's awesome. Well, it was great talking to you, and I look forward to having you on again sometime to talk about all the fun things you've been doing.
Thank you. It was good to talk to you again, Ben.
You too.
Do you want me to close it?
She closed. Sub recording.